Do you own a dog, cat, bird, or other pet? Did you know that many homeowners and renters policies don't cover animal or pet liability claims, so you may be held liable if an incident, accident, or claim occurs? At X Insurance, we provide customized liability insurance coverage for any animal or pet regardless of type, size, age, or bite history. X Insurance provides third-party liability coverage for injuries or property damage done to others by your pet. An X Insurance policy will fill the gaps in your homeowners or renters coverage and provide the protection you need for true peace of mind to protect your assets. X Insurance offers 30-plus years of professional experience, providing solutions for many types of specialty risks in all 50 states. If you own an ATV, electric scooter, golf cart, etc., then we've got you covered. Visit xinsurance.com or call 877-585-2853 today to learn more or to get a free quote.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Welcome Home Doggy. I'm Tim Cordier, your host, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Christine Hunsaker of Paws Whiskers and Wags. Christine.
Thanks for having me. How are you?
I mispronounced your name, didn't I?
No, you did it perfect. Christine Hunsaker.
That's the first time. Okay,
Yeah.
well, great. Well, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
So let's go right into it. Let's talk about your company, Paws Whiskers and Wags.
Yes.
What exactly is this?
So we are a pet death care company that is almost 20 years old. We serve North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And we are the premier pet death care or crematory in Metro Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've been around, what do you say, for almost 20 years?
Yes.
Wow.
Since 2004.
And you have a pretty extensive background in the death care industry, is that correct?
I do. I by no choice of my own, my first home was a funeral home. And
You grew up in a funeral home?
Huh?
You grew up in a funeral home?
I did. My dad's a funeral director. Still, he's alive. He's 84 years old.
Is he really?
He is.
Oh.
And I never really thought I would get into this business, right? I went to college. I studied business and political science, and I went overseas and studied. And I landed working for one of the big publicly traded funeral companies. Ended up working for 4 of them total. But halfway through my corporate career, my dog died, and our dog died. And it was leap year. It was an ice storm in Atlanta, and you know how that just shuts us completely down.
Yes, I
and
do.
one of my dearest friends across the street, Dr. Melton, I ran over there and we knocked on his door, and he came running across in his pajamas with the stethoscope on and put it on little Casey's chest and told us that she had died. And it was awful. And I never will forget feeling, now what do we do, right? Who do we call, and now what do we do?
Mm-hmm.
And, it's the middle of the night. It's a weekend. It's an ice storm. Your veterinarian's closed, and you're just stuck, And back then, we get out the yellow pages. Remember that? Get out the yellow pages.
I do remember the yellow pages, yes.
And there were a couple of choices, and the phone rang and rang and rang, and nobody answered our call. And so when morning came, we finally had somebody return our call, and we had a tough experience. And it didn't go the way I would have wanted it to go, having been in death care my whole life and having heard my father all these years say to people, it's going to be okay, and we're going to take good care of you. We didn't have that
They didn't take
opportunity.
care of you.
And the experience was very miserable and difficult. And at the time, I was running and building the largest human cremation company in the country. And I thought, good golly, if 400,000 people will trust their grandmother to me, certainly there are other pet owners out there like me, and I can help them with their dog.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of the impetus that Paws, Whiskers, and Wags came about.
That's how you got it started.
I think we're just talking about how people, there's got to be other pet owners like me
Absolutely.
that are equally as heartbroken and want something special and be treated special when their heart is completely breaking in two. So
Yeah, I know this bothers you because we talked about it. It certainly bothers me when someone will say to a person who's grieving the loss of their pet, "Oh, it's just a dog." How does that affect you? We had a brief conversation about it.
it's awful.
It is.
Our four-legged family members are just as important or fill just as big a role as two-legged family members. And if you don't think so, ask the children, right?
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, we've had many a funeral, even just for a hamster or a gerbil or a rabbit, because a child is so distraught. And it's these animals that really bring a lot of love, unconditional love, I think is it.
Absolutely.
I look at it like this. There's not another person in my household that doesn't keep up with the time. I can be gone to the mailbox for 5 minutes, or I can be gone to work for 5 hours, and I get the same greeting, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's okay with them. They just want to come along. Right?
Well, as you said, it's unconditional love.
Right. And whatever you're eating, it's all right with them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think I've ever had a bath without 2 or 3 faces looking over the edge. Right? I mean, hey, what are you doing? I mean, they don't know personal space. They're just right there. Like, this is fine with me. Oh, we're watching football today. Okay, great.
And they're an
Mind if I
integral
sit
part of
right
our
here?
family.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are.
Right.
We had a guest on much earlier, a veterinarian, Dr. Fowler is his name. And he said such a poignant thing to us when we were interviewing him. He said, I don't call my dogs. They're not my dogs. They're my girls.
Right.
They're my girls. And it was so moving to hear him say that.
I mean, ours are our kids. Let's go get the kids. Let's get them all in.
Right.
I mean, ours are on our boat. They're in our cars. We just took an RV trip to the Outer Banks, and there they were. Where we go, they go. And I was sharing, with you a minute ago, our corporate office, everybody brings their dog to work. And
That is phenomenal.
and we have a big dog beer garden play area for the dogs, for the employees.
Do the dogs get to drink beer too?
Well, no. Although I can't say that they haven't. But it's just to create a space at home or at work where you've got your pet or your pets. It just reduces stress. It makes the environment calm. And the heartache is our pets don't live as long as we do. And the statistic is that if you're a pet owner, you'll lose a pet 16-1 over experiencing a human death.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so we find at Paws, Whiskers, and Wags that we have a very big brand loyalty because it's not our first time helping you and your family. It's maybe our second or our third or, geez, I mean,
So they're part of your family. I mean,
Right.
you're creating a family.
Right. I still go into Kroger or somewhere, Walmart or Home Depot, and I'll get hugs from people, but I can't always remember their name. But if I always say, what was your dog's name? And immediately I'll know who they were.
Oh,
Right.
That's special.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow, what a special feeling for you.
It's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done.
Well, we talked a little bit about what makes your crematory different. What are some of the other things?
So what we've done, or I've tried to do, is unlike other providers in the market, the number one thing anybody wants to know, whether they're cremating a 2-legged loved one or a 4-legged loved one, is one thing. You know what it is?
I have no idea.
Who's in the urn? Is that my dog? And how do I know? And before Paws, Whiskers, and Wags, there's a lot of mystery. You drop your pet off at the veterinarian, and then you come back in a week and you get a container of ashes.
Was that your experience that you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, ours was a little rougher, but similar. And I thought there needs to be a provider in the market that is not only 100% full disclosure, but as my dad taught me years ago, when a death occurs, you can only do one thing, and that is create peace of mind for the family you're serving today. Peace of mind that while their loved one is in your care, the right things are going to happen. But it goes beyond just words. You should be able to prove it. Our facility, everything we do is on camera. From the moment we get your pet into our care, all through the cremation process, till they go in the urn and they go home, number one. Number two, our Pet Tracker 360 is a stainless steel disc. It goes on the wrist of the pet. It doesn't get removed. It goes in the cremation chamber and is cremated with your pet and unequivocally identifies your pet after cremation. We're the only one that uses Pet Tracker 360.
You're the only one.
I own the patent on it.
Oh, nice.
Right? Then we've got one other thing, which is our portal, which is how we interact with our veterinarians. Before, one of our veterinarians would call and say, hey, we've got a little poodle. He's passed away. Would you come and get him? His name's Chester. We would. And then if their mother called or they wanted to know about Chester, they'd have to call us. Well, now we have a sophisticated barcoding system. So when we go to a veterinarian, this pet is already got paperwork with a barcode that's unique to that pet. We scan the pet, and all of a sudden now there's a live dashboard for the veterinarian and the owner that says, Chester was picked up from my veterinarian at 9:32 this morning. He arrived at Paws Whiskers and Wags Pet Crematory at 12:01. His cremation started at 2:13. His cremation ended at 3:05. He was in the urn by 5 o'clock. He's ready to come home.
Wow.
So our technology tracks what's very important in death care. It's called chain of custody. On the human side, we must be able to prove chain of custody. What time were we there to get your mother from the rest home? What time did your mother arrive to us? We've got to, by law, prove chain of custody.
We don't have those same kind of requirements with our pets?
We do not. There are no laws
Interesting.
for pet cremation. There's no governance for pet cremation. And what makes it really, really hard is because there are no guardrails, if you will, there are really great operators in this market. I've got some really great competition. Dreamland, which is up north, they're awesome, right? They're great competition. And then there are others in the market that it's like, holy cow, you don't know where your pet's going. You can't go there. You can't get past the wall. You can't ask questions. So yeah, there are no rules. That's the hard thing.
Right.
And I think that's what's grown our company is that one of our core values is to operate consistent, ethical, 100% full disclosure operations that instill your trust in us, the veterinarian's trust in us, and the dignified care we provide of your loved one. What that means is you, at any point, or any veterinarian or any owner can walk into our facility, the back door, the front door, anytime you want, and be present for the whole operation of your pet. From the time we get them into our care, through the cremation, until they go home. And until COVID, actually had 30% of our customers would, what we call, come in and witness and wait and take their pet home with them. So they were never out of the owner's care.
Oh, wow. That's
Yes.
really lovely. I think it's absolutely remarkable, Christine, that you took this tragic event in your life
Yeah.
and you turned it around and you're helping others. It's just such a remarkable story.
Thank you.
It really is. It's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk a little bit about you're expanding, right? I mean, you started out here in Decatur, correct?
Right.
But now where are you now?
So we started in 2004 in Decatur. I bought an old brownstone just up from the farmer's market here.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, I bought an existing business of some ladies that were really great, but they got into it. They were a bit older. They realized it was a lot of work. It's a 24-hour business, right? Death doesn't just happen between you're open at 9 and 5.
That's right. That's
right?
absolutely
It
right.
happens we're like the emergency room. We're always open.
Right.
And we always are there to personally answer your call. Unlike my competitors who don't answer their phone at night, we do. We personally answer the phone at night to help you. And I can't tell you how many times people have called and said, oh my goodness, my German Shepherd is passed away here in the kitchen. Could you come and help me before my kids wake up? Of course we can. But so what we've done and how we do business, we have a location in Covington. We have and that serves the University of Georgia and the east side of the city.
Yeah.
We have a brand new location 4 years ago, probably our nicest one in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
And we just opened a new one in Marietta. And now we're expanding also into Knoxville, Nashville, Birmingham, and into the state of Florida.
Oh my goodness.
So we've got a 3-year expansion plan. Yeah, as well as Raleigh. Alabama. We're going to go a little bit further north just to give better service to Raleigh.
Now, is this a franchise that you're doing, or is this your
company-owned stores?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, remarkable. You must be taking care of your employees.
You know, I wish I could say, good job, Christine, but it's not me. I have the best team of the nicest people that work for us. And we start with one question. It's pretty simple. When you fill out an application to work for us, tell me your pet's name. If they say, oh, I don't have a pet, scratch, right?
Sure.
You've got to understand the animal-human bond and how important these animals are to us individually, personally, to the family unit in order to deliver on our core values of care.
Yeah, you can't teach that to someone. You have, like you say, there's a difference between lecturing or teaching someone and someone really understanding it.
Right. Most of our employees were customers first.
Oh, nice.
Interesting, right?
Oh, very nice.
We don't have to look very hard for new employees. We usually have a pretty good bullpen of people that really want to come work for us. And I think the other thing that we've done well is from the moment you come to work for us, we have really good health benefits. Before Obamacare, and they forced us to, we had really good health benefits, still do.
And you have a beer garden.
And we have a beer garden.
Yeah.
We have very good 401k. That's very important, right? You got to help everybody plan for their future.
Sure.
And we buy their uniforms. We give them a cell phone allowance. We have a really good package to support our employees. And we do a lot of team meetings, a lot of team events. We run a few suites a year for the soccer and football. And it's very important if you're, I think, owning 3 companies like I do. If you're going to be successful, you got to take care of your people.
Absolutely.
You take care of your customer and you take good care of your people. All the other stuff takes care of itself.
Right. And they'll take care of you.
That's right.
Absolutely.
I am very blessed when it comes to our employees.
Yeah, well, that's a reflection of you as well,
So
without a doubt. Christine, we're going to take a really quick break.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll come right back.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, folks, we're going to be right back, so stay with us, okay?
There was a time in my life where I was extremely homesick. I decided that I needed a pet. When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. He jumped up and kissed me and jumped right into my arms. I immediately went up to the volunteers at the shelter and said, I want him. He's got to come home with me. Now I'm anything but lonely. Every day with Turtle is a perfect day and keeps me company when I'm doing schoolwork. I like it when he jumps up on the table too. He is a veggie thief. He's an incredible companion and my best friend. Can't say that I've met anybody that doesn't love him too. When I adopted Turtle, I discovered all the things that make him unique. He's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly he's all pure love.
And we're back. So, I want to talk about the family culture that you've created. I understand you also offer grief support. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yes, we started this many years ago. And when people have issues, in their life. And if you look at people that struggle with either alcoholism or drugs or collapse or have depression, it oftentimes relates back to unresolved grief. And back to your statement of it's only a dog, you know, people, especially people that live alone, that have their dogs and they lose one, it's like losing a child for them. And yet they're supposed to just show up to work tomorrow like everything's just fine. And then they've got a boss that doesn't like pets, and you know, they get no sympathy, or they get no space to just grieve. They just must move on. And for me, what became really, really clear early on was one of the very first customers that ever came to our business. A big Kenilworth tractor trailer was pulling in to Paws, Whiskers, and Wags. And if you've been there, the parking lot's that big. And I thought, good golly, that guy must be lost, right? Hope he can get out, you know, in this big.
It was a whole rig?
With no trailer, but the whole rig.
But the big giant truck.
Big Kenilworth. And he parked, and this man came out of this truck, and I promise you, he's one of the biggest men I've ever seen. And he got out of his truck and went around the front of the truck and opened the passenger door. And he took his hands and went like that. And he had this little gray-faced Pomeranian in his arms. And I met him at the door, and he said, he just started to cry. And I remember looking up to him, and those tears were just coming, and he said, will you help me? My best friend is. And I remember he was too big for me to almost hug. And I just said, please come in. And he just held this, big man held this little tiny dog. It was his wife calling from Dallas. And she said, my husband will be coming. He's a trucker and his dog has died. And he is distraught. I said, ma'am, he's already here. We helped him with that little dog's name was Toby. And Toby went back to Texas with him that day. We got the nicest, he had a funeral at his church for this dog. And the whole funeral announcement and the nicest card thanking us. And he, for several years, would still stop by and give me a hug. And 2 years after that, he introduced me to his new dog. But my point is everybody grieves. Big, tall guys like Toby's dad, children, me, you. And sometimes just saying, you know, I feel really bad my dog died isn't enough. So we sought to find certified grief counselors that would host free grief counseling for our customers. You can come as many times as you want. It's no fee. And it's been one of the most successful things we've done, quite frankly. And we've gotten people that are certified in pet loss, which helps. So, and we also interview them, and same first question, right?
What's the name of your pet?
Tell me the name of your pet. Because how are you going to help these people if you don't understand what they're going through?
Sure.
So we have been tremendously blessed with the who have partnered with us to help our customers. Yep.
Could you tell us a little about, you mentioned earlier when we were off camera, you were talking about an event that you have every year where you get everyone together?
So yeah, it's by invitation only, and it's for all of our customers that we've helped the previous calendar year. Mm-hmm. And we send them a invitation and invite them to what we call the annual celebration of the pets. Mm. And we've outgrown the Luford Auditorium. I mean, last year we were shoulder to shoulder and seat to seat, and it's always in January. And we have just wonderful speakers. Last year we had a gentleman who he and his dog served 2 or 3 tours in Iraq. His dog was a bomb sniffer, and then they came home when they retired and worked for APD. And when his dog Scout died, which was really a war hero, he spoke and told us about his journeys with Scout and how hard it was to lose Scout. And we have had many pet lovers, people that you would know that speak. So we have a speech. We have a candlelight vigil. There's a candle on everyone's chair in a program. And then we have everybody stand up and light their candles, and then they blow out the candles. That's when the pets come up on the big screens of every picture sent in, hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and there's not a dry eye in the room.
Oh, I can imagine.
And to just neat music, Simply the Best by Tina Turner, and Say a Little Prayer for You, and just really neat songs that just tug at your heart anyway. It's one of the neatest things we do. It's like putting on a massive wedding every year. We start in October and put it on in January. And we do it for free for our customers.
Well, that leads me to my next thought. And this is something that, because of the world we're currently living in, this is a common thread that we've been asking. How has COVID affected your business?
It's affected the pet business as well as my human funeral businesses too, because you can't have a funeral. Right. We used to, pre-COVID, much like Toby's dad, you come right to our front door. We have lots of beautifully appointed rooms like this one, where you can have your sweet pet right there and hold their paw and tell them goodbye, and have your children there and put pictures in their paw and their favorite ball before you tell them goodbye. And we can't do that. And now we've put a canopy over our loading dock and allow people to say goodbye there, but we can't, because of social distancing, can't have them in. And we've got curbside service, which is just not been the best. But our customers, I've got to say bravo to our customers. Our customers are kindred spirits to us, really, and they've built our business. They've trusted us at the worst day of their life, and we're very grateful. And they understand the world we're in today, and they still roll with it. And there aren't as many hugs as there used to be, because we can't, and there's not as many kisses and paw holding, like we used to, but it'll come back. COVID, they'll find a solution for COVID, and we'll be back to the way we were. But, the pet loving public, I have found something about people that love animals. People that love animals genuinely are pretty good people.
Oh, absolutely.
They just really are. I wished I could say that we've had a mad customer that's never come back. I could count on, at almost 20 years and hundreds of thousands of pets, maybe one or two, where one time the lady just didn't want her pet processed, and she wanted just him the way he was, and we processed him, and she got real angry with us, And what was interesting is, as angry as she was when her next pet died, she still came back. So, I wish we could say we're perfect and we've never made a mistake, but I'll tell you, we make very few, and when we do, we're very honest about them. And this is where I'm going to go with this pet owning public. They are gracious, they are kind, they are forgiving, they are humble. And if you think about those words, that pretty much describes your dog.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, it sounds to me like, Christine, you created a culture of compassion. And I'm going to...
I wouldn't say I would. I'd say we have.
Well, I was going to say, it's a family. I mean, you mentioned your clients. It sounds to me like you created a massive, massive family, which is all surrounded by the beauty of these animals that we all love.
That's right.
Yeah.
Look, I'll tell you, my life would be pretty empty without my pets. And I'm grateful that I have Paws, Whiskers, and Wags. And today I'm wearing I wear this necklace. I had it made I've always had poodles except one black lab. And her name was Myrtle. And Myrtle left me a year ago, May. And I'll tell you, what a cool dog. And I had a big diamond-studded rhinestone collar that she wore. And my jeweler made this for me and put diamonds there around her neck. And whenever I know I have a bad day coming, I always take Myrtle with me to work, because I know she's just standing right there. And there's no better love and companionship than than a big dog. And I've always had little dogs, but I'll tell you, she was something. Kind, gentle, protector, easygoing.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. You've done it. You're the first one. I usually make my guests cry, but you've made me cry. I'm not exaggerating either. This has been just a remarkable experience hanging out with you.
Well, we appreciate the opportunity to just talk about the animals. And, you know, when I lost my first pet as an adult, I was just crying my eyes out, and I called my mother. Mm-hmm. And I think there were no truer words. He said, your life has been so rich, and they've been such a good friend to you, and you'd much rather have had life with them in it than not had them at all. So go ahead, honey, and cry your eyes out and call me later. You know, and if you think about that, you'd much rather had your life was so rich with them in it that even though they don't stay on this earth as long as we do, our lives were so significantly enriched that we'd rather have this heartache today than not had the love at all. And I think, you know, it's interesting how our mothers always come through in the clutch with something important that kind of resonates, you know.
Well, it sounds like your dad's had some beautiful words of wisdom too. Yeah. Really, really remarkable. Well, let's round this out and talk about. We've talked a little bit about your expansion.
Yeah.
Where are you going from all these other states? Do you have other places? Do you think?
For me, slow and steady growth wins. The company has got to grow slow and steady because this might be our 60th family we've served today, but it's your first time. And we can't get it wrong, not ever, not once. So we've got slow and steady. I would rather open one Paws, Whiskers, and Wags and have it perfect to serve the community than to open 6 and have 2 of them get it wrong. And so we have got an aggressive expansion strategy. We're very excited about the future of Paws, Whiskers, and Wags. And we know where we're headed, but we're going to do it right. When somebody entrusts you with their loved one, you must get it right. It's not like going to Walmart and buying a microwave, right? If you don't get it right, you go back and get another one. When it comes to a service business like ours of death care, you have one opportunity to get it right. And every family needs your love right now. And, you know, that being said, one thing we're working on too right now is compassion fatigue is a real thing for our employees, and making sure that they're healthy and in a good state of mind, and making sure that they are good with who they are today, because you give a lot all day long. So.
Well, and I imagine that was the impetus behind creating an environment with the, you know, I'm joking with the beer garden, but true. Right. I mean,
on Friday there was 15 of us back there, and our dogs were all running crazy, and you know, you're like, oh, what a week, you know. And you know, any week we get through with as many vehicles as we have on the road, and as much moving parts as we have to get through week after week after week without mistakes or wrecks or like big things. I consider big things. Right, sure. You know, and everybody just comes back there, and it doesn't matter what your job is. Everybody's welcome, right? So there's Cokes and bottled waters, and the whole fridge is open Friday at 4, and we've got some neat tables back there, and we planted a whole bunch of tomatoes and things back there this summer. So it's cool. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Well, look, Christine, it was truly an honor to hang out with you and have you share your story. It's remarkable. Seriously, it was. I feel blessed to have sat here and for you to share your story and your mission. So I wish you all the best. We have a special place. Thank you. Yeah. You know, again, I wish I could say it is me, but it's our employees, it's our customers, we are all the same in that we love the animals. And if you have a goal on a common love, right, it's amazing how things kind of fall together. Anyway, but I'm one of the most blessed. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here and to talk about our nice company. And should you ever need me for anything, or we support a lot of things in town. So. But,
Well, likewise here as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm so excited about this. Right?
Well, isn't it great?
It is very neat.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty cool place.
Very
well,
nice.
again, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
All right, folks. Well, that wraps it up for now. Listen, if you want to learn more about our show or about Christine and all the wonderful work that she's doing, please check us out on Facebook, Instagram, become a subscriber on our YouTube page. And as always, we'll see you next time right here on Welcome Home Doggy.
Pet overpopulation is a national problem. Georgia has some of the highest euthanasia rates in the country, with an area the size of Maryland without basics like animal control, rescues, shelters, or even veterinarians. The Georgia Pet Foundation provides statewide spay-neuter grants to organizations to help decrease pet overpopulation. Do your part to help. Purchase a Georgia Pet Foundation spay-neuter tag through your local tag office, with proceeds going to support spay-neuter efforts in Georgia. Buy a tag, save a life.